All right, so are you ready to like jump into the world of entrepreneurship?
I know I am.
We're taking a deep dive
Yeah.
into a master's thesis
Okay.
from Mälardalens University in Sweden.
Wow. That sounds impressive.
It's not all theory though.
Okay.
We're talking about real-world insights from entrepreneurs
Okay.
who actually built successful businesses.
So it's like we're getting like a cheat sheet.
Exactly.
But instead of answers, it's like filled with experiences and lessons
Yeah.
from people who've actually been there and done that.
Okay, so get ready to extract some serious wisdom about motivation.
Right.
The business idea itself, quality knowledge,
Yeah.
and of course the business plan.
It's like the whole package.
Yeah, and what's really cool
Yeah.
is that these entrepreneurs didn't sugarcoat things.
Oh, that's a
They talk about the struggles, the doubts.
real talk.
It's a really honest look at what it takes to make it.
I like that.
Okay, so let's dive into motivation.
Okay.
You might think, well, I'm motivated, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
But these entrepreneurs have some really interesting things to say
Oh.
about how motivation isn't just a starting point. It's like this fuel you have to constantly replenish.
I could see that.
It's like a muscle.
Yeah.
You have to keep working out.
Makes sense.
They faced burnout setbacks,
Mm-hmm.
times when they just wanted to give up,
Yeah.
but they found ways to tap back into their passion,
Okay.
almost like reminding themselves why they started in the first place.
Right.
And it wasn't just solo effort either.
Right.
They talked about the importance of surrounding themselves
Yeah.
with positive people, mentors, or even just a supportive community.
That's huge.
It's like having cheerleaders when you're running a marathon, you know?
I totally get that.
There's a great quote from one of them that really stuck with me.
So let's hear it.
Everything I choose to do comes from my heart.
Oh.
I can only succeed when I believe in myself and don't give up no matter what.
Wow, that's powerful.
It's that inner fire
Yeah.
that kept them going.
You can really feel that passion.
So if you're thinking about your own entrepreneurial journey,
Okay.
think about what truly lights you up.
Right.
What problem are you passionate about solving?
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of fuel that can help you push through
Yeah.
the inevitable tough times.
You gotta have that drive.
Absolutely.
And speaking of passion,
Yeah.
that brings us to the next piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
The business idea itself.
The idea.
Now, it's easy to get caught up in thinking you need
Uh-huh.
this revolutionary, never-before-seen concept,
Okay.
but the entrepreneurs had a different perspective.
Oh, I'm curious about this. What did they say?
Well, they talked about how sometimes the most successful ideas
Yeah.
are actually improvements on existing ones.
Interesting.
It's about taking something that's already out there
Uh-huh.
and finding a way to do it better, to meet a customer need in a way that no one else is doing.
So it's not necessarily about reinventing the wheel,
Right.
but more about finding a new way to spin it.
Exactly.
I like that.
And one entrepreneur even talked about how they were constantly observing the world around them, looking for those little problems, those unmet needs
Yeah.
that they could solve with their business.
That's such a great point.
It's all about that mindset.
It's about having that entrepreneurial mindset,
Right.
that constant curiosity and willingness to see things differently.
Totally.
It makes me think of those Shark Tank pitches
Oh, yeah.
where someone takes a simple product
Uh-huh.
and adds a clever twist that makes all the difference.
Right. Those aha moments.
Exactly.
And a lot of them emphasized
Yeah.
how crucial it was to really understand their target customers.
Understand your customer.
What were their pain points?
Yeah.
What solutions were they already using? And what was missing?
Yeah.
That deep understanding is what often led to those aha moments.
Okay, so we've got the motivation,
Right?
the fuel that keeps us going,
Yeah.
and a solid business idea that solves a real problem.
Yep.
What's the next ingredient in this entrepreneurial recipe?
Well, these entrepreneurs were adamant
Okay.
about the importance of quality.
Quality.
They believed in offering the best possible product or service,
Uh,
even if it meant going above and beyond what was expected.
it's interesting because quality can mean different things
Right.
in different contexts.
Very sure.
Did they talk about what quality meant to them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
For some, it was about sourcing the highest quality materials.
Makes sense.
Others focused on delivering exceptional customer service.
yeah.
Even if it meant longer hours or more personalized attention.
I see.
One entrepreneur talked about how they were obsessed
Wow.
with the craftsmanship of their product.
Uh-huh.
Every detail had to be perfect.
So it sounds like quality wasn't just a buzzword.
No.
It was a core value that infused every aspect of their businesses.
It was in their DNA.
And that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
If you're passionate about your idea,
Yep.
you naturally want to deliver the absolute best you can.
It's about pride in your work
Yeah.
and creating something you truly believe in.
Yeah.
And that kind of commitment to quality often translates into customer loyalty
Yeah.
and a strong reputation.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've got the drive,
Yes.
a great idea,
Uh-huh.
and a focus on quality.
Yep.
What else did these entrepreneurs emphasize?
They talked a lot about the importance of knowledge.
Knowledge.
They were constantly learning,
Oh, yeah.
gathering information from every source imaginable.
Oh, wow.
Mentors, former colleagues, industry events, and even their own customers.
It's like they were sponges soaking up everything they could
They were hungry for knowledge.
to gain an edge.
Yeah.
Did they have any specific examples of how this knowledge helped them?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
One entrepreneur talked about how they completely revamped
Oh.
their marketing strategy after attending a conference and
Yeah.
learning about a new approach. Another mentioned how a mentor helped them navigate
Okay.
a tricky legal situation
Oh.
that could have derailed their whole business.
Wow.
They emphasized how gathering information from diverse sources
Yeah.
helped them make smarter decisions
Right.
and avoid costly mistakes.
It makes me think of that saying knowledge is power.
It is.
It seems like these entrepreneurs really embodied that.
They lived it.
And speaking of knowledge,
Yeah.
it seems like a natural segue to talk about the final element.
Okay.
They highlighted
Okay.
the business plan.
Yes, the business plan.
It's often seen as this daunting, formal document.
Right.
But these entrepreneurs saw it as a roadmap to success.
Okay.
And they had some pretty strong opinions about why it was so crucial.
I bet they did.
Okay, I'm definitely curious to hear their take on this.
Yeah.
Why was the business plan so important to them?
Well, one entrepreneur put it really simply.
Okay.
Starting a business without a plan
Uh-huh.
is like building a house without blueprints. You might end up with something.
Yeah.
But it's likely to be unstable
Uh-huh.
and full of problems.
That's a great analogy.
They saw the business plan as a way to clarify their goals,
Right.
map out their strategies,
Uh-huh.
and anticipate potential challenges before they arose.
So it's not just about having a good idea.
Right.
It's about having a concrete plan
Yeah,
for how to turn that idea into a reality.
exactly.
Did they mention anything about using the business plan
Oh, yeah.
to attract investors?
That came up a lot.
Okay.
They talked about how a well-crafted plan
Yeah.
helped them secure funding
All right.
because it demonstrated that they had thought things through carefully
Right.
and were prepared for the road ahead.
It's like saying, look, I'm not just winging it.
Exactly.
I've got a roadmap. I've done my research.
Yes.
And I'm ready to execute.
That's the key.
And that level of preparation and foresight
Uh-huh.
goes a long way in building confidence
For sure.
with potential investors or lenders.
Absolutely.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've talked about the importance of sustained motivation,
Yeah.
a well-defined business idea that solves a real problem,
Uh-huh.
a commitment to delivering exceptional quality,
Right.
a thirst for knowledge,
Yep.
and a clear roadmap in the form of a business plan.
It's a solid foundation.
It's like we've just laid the foundation for entrepreneurial success.
We have.
But the journey doesn't stop there.
True.
These entrepreneurs also face their fair share of challenges and setbacks.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what we'll be exploring in the next part of our deep dive.
I'm ready for part 2.
I'm ready to hear about those challenges.
Me too.
It's one thing to talk about the ingredients for success,
Uh-huh.
but it's another to hear how these entrepreneurs navigated
Yeah.
the real-world obstacles that inevitably pop up.
Those are the real lessons.
Get ready for some inspiring tales of resilience and adaptability.
I can't wait.
So you're saying these entrepreneurs had their fair share of struggles.
Oh.
It's easy to get caught up in the success stories,
Right.
But I bet hearing about those challenges could be even more valuable.
Absolutely. They were incredibly open about the obstacles they faced.
Okay.
And what's interesting is that many of them struggled with similar things,
Okay.
even though their businesses were completely different.
Okay. I'm all ears. What kind of challenges did they talk about?
Well, funding was a big one,
Funding.
which isn't surprising.
Yeah.
Securing the capital to get a business off the ground,
Right.
especially for first-time entrepreneurs, can be incredibly difficult.
I can imagine.
They talked about maxing out credit cards, taking on second mortgages,
Wow.
even borrowing from family and friends. It's a huge risk.
That's a lot of pressure.
It is.
And I imagine even if you do manage to secure funding,
Yeah.
knowing how to manage it wisely is a whole other challenge.
Exactly. One entrepreneur mentioned how they had to learn financial management on the fly.
Oh, wow.
They made mistakes early on,
Uh,
overspending in certain areas, not realizing the importance of cash flow.
right.
They emphasize the importance of having a solid financial plan in place,
Okay.
not just for attracting investors,
Uh-huh.
but for making sure you don't run out of runway
Yeah.
before you even get off the ground.
That's important.
It is.
It's like they had to become financial experts,
Right.
even if that wasn't their background.
Yeah. You have to wear a lot of hats as an entrepreneur.
It sounds like it.
And they stress the need to be prepared for those lean times,
Okay.
especially in the early stages when revenue can be unpredictable.
Yeah.
One entrepreneur described it as a roller coaster ride,
Oh, wow.
with some months being amazing
Hmm.
and others being terrifyingly slow.
I can see that.
Having that financial cushion
Yeah.
and a clear plan for managing cash flow
Okay.
help them weather those storms.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
And it brings up another challenge
Yeah.
that I imagine most entrepreneurs face,
Mm-hmm.
competition. How do they deal with the pressure of standing out
Right.
in a crowded market?
They emphasize the importance of differentiation.
Differentiation.
It's not enough to simply offer a similar product or service to what's already out there.
Right?
You need to give customers a compelling reason
Yeah.
to choose you over the competition.
So it's about finding that special something,
Yes.
that unique angle or value
Well,
proposition.
that sets you apart.
One entrepreneur talked about how they spent months
Wow.
researching their competitors,
Okay.
identifying their weaknesses,
Mm-hmm.
and figuring out how they could offer something better,
Yeah.
faster, or more affordable.
Okay.
Another mentioned how they focused on building a strong brand identity
Right.
that resonated with their target audience.
So it's about creating an emotional connection,
Right.
not just selling a product.
It's about the whole experience.
I imagine that takes a lot of creativity
It does.
and really understanding what your customers want.
It's not just about being different.
Right.
It's about being different in a way that matters
Yeah,
to your audience.
absolutely. And they talked about the importance of constantly innovating
Okay.
and evolving.
Right.
The business landscape is always changing.
Yeah.
So entrepreneurs need to be adaptable
Uh-huh.
and willing to adjust their strategies as needed.
So it's not about finding a magic formula
No.
and sticking to it rigidly.
Right.
It's about being flexible and responsive to the market,
Yeah.
almost like being a surfer,
I like that.
riding the waves of change.
That's a great analogy.
And another key challenge they discussed
Okay.
was building a strong team.
Team building.
You know, as an entrepreneur, you can't do everything yourself.
It's true.
At some point, you need to delegate
Right.
and build a team you can trust.
And that can be tough.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Especially when you think about all the different aspects
Yeah.
of running a business.
Mm.
Marketing, sales, operations, customer service.
Right.
It can quickly become overwhelming
Yeah.
for one person to handle.
You need a good support system.
Right. And they shared some interesting insights
Okay.
about how they approached hiring. They looked for people who were not only skilled,
Mm-hmm.
but also passionate about the business.
Okay.
People who shared their vision and values.
Makes sense.
One entrepreneur described it as finding people
Yeah.
who were on the same mission.
I love that.
So it's not just about filling a role.
Right.
It's about finding people who are a good cultural fit,
Yeah.
who believe in what you're building.
Absolutely. And they emphasize the importance of building a culture
Okay.
of collaboration and mutual respect
Right.
where everyone feels valued
Right.
and empowered to contribute their ideas.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
But even with a great team, I imagine there are still challenges
Oh, yeah,
in terms of leadership and management.
for sure.
Did they talk about that at all?
They did. They stressed the importance of clear communication, setting clear expectations, and providing regular feedback.
Right.
They also talked about the need
Yeah.
to empower their team member,
Okay.
to give them the autonomy and support they need to do their best work.
It's about finding that balance
Right.
between guidance
Uh-huh.
and giving people the space to thrive.
You do both.
And all of that on top of the constant pressure
Right.
and long hours that come with being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It sounds like a recipe for burnout.
You're telling me, and they were very candid about their struggles with burnout.
Oh, wow.
They talked about the importance of self-care,
Okay.
setting boundaries,
Uh-huh.
and making time for things outside of work.
Right.
One entrepreneur said something like, you
Right.
can't pour from an empty cup.
That's so true.
They realized that to be successful in the long run,
Uh-huh.
they needed to take care of themselves,
Okay.
both physically and mentally.
You got to recharge those batteries.
You do.
So it's not just about pushing yourself to the limit.
Right.
It's about recognizing your own limits
Uh.
and finding ways to sustain yourself over the long haul.
And they also talked about the importance of
Okay.
having a strong support network.
Yeah.
People you can turn to for advice, encouragement, or just a listening ear.
That's so important.
Whether it's family, friends, or fellow entrepreneurs,
Right.
having a community can make all the difference
Yeah.
when facing challenges.
That makes me think about something else that came up
Okay.
in the thesis.
Mm-hmm.
The role of external knowledge and support.
Yeah,
Didn't they emphasize seeking out guidance
they did.
from outside sources?
They really stressed the value of tapping into
Okay.
the collective wisdom of others,
Interesting.
mentors, industry experts, even customers.
Customers. Wow.
It's about recognizing that you don't have to have all the answers yourself.
You don't have to know it all.
Exactly.
So it's not about having all the answers yourself.
Right.
It's about knowing where to find the answers.
Yes.
About tapping into the collective wisdom of others.
They talked about attending industry events,
Okay.
joining online forums,
Uh-huh.
and even just reaching out to people they admired
Oh,
to ask for advice.
that's a good idea.
They were constantly seeking out new perspectives and information.
It's almost like they were building their own personal board of advisors,
That's a great way to put it.
made up of people they could learn from and rely on.
And they saw this ongoing learning as essential
Okay.
for staying ahead of the curve,
Uh-huh.
adapting to market changes,
Right.
and constantly improving their businesses.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've talked about some of the internal challenges.
Right.
Entrepreneurs face funding competition,
Mm-hmm.
team building burnout.
Yes.
But didn't the thesis also touch on some external factors
Oh, yeah.
that can impact success?
They did things like economic conditions,
Okay.
government regulations, and even technological advancements can all play a role in shaping the entrepreneurial landscape.
So it's not just about what's happening within your business.
Right.
It's about being aware of the broader context in
Hmm.
which you're operating.
Yeah.
It's almost like you have to have this panoramic view
You do.
of the world around you.
Exactly. They talked about the importance of staying informed
Okay.
about industry trends,
Uh-huh.
following economic news,
Yeah.
and being aware of any changes in regulations
Okay.
that might affect their business.
So you got to be on top of it.
It's about being proactive,
Okay.
anticipating potential challenges,
Yeah.
and being prepared to adapt.
It sounds like a lot to keep track of.
It is, but they also highlighted the importance
Okay.
of building relationships with key stakeholders,
All right.
government officials, industry associations, and even, wait for it, competitors.
Competitors.
Yeah.
Why would you want to build relationships with your rivals?
That's a great question, and it's something we're going to explore
Okay.
in the final part of our deep dive.
Because sometimes collaboration can be just as important
Wow.
as competition when it comes to entrepreneurial success.
Okay, so we're back, and I'm still kind of like processing this whole idea
Yeah.
of collaborating with competitors.
It's a wild concept.
It seems a little counterintuitive, right?
It does, but the entrepreneurs in this study,
Yeah.
they actually found ways to make it work.
Really?
They saw it as a way to achieve more
Okay.
collectively than they could individually.
So like teamwork, even with your rivals.
Yeah, kind
Did
of.
they give any specific examples of how they collaborated?
Yeah, they talked about things like working together
Okay.
on industry advocacy,
Okay.
setting standards,
Uh-huh.
or even sharing best practices.
Sharing best practices with competitors, that's interesting.
Right, but sometimes it makes sense.
Right.
For example,
Yeah.
a group of entrepreneurs in the same niche
Okay.
might join forces to lobby for legislation
Uh-huh.
that benefits their industry as a whole. So it's like that saying, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Exactly. And sometimes collaborating on things like industry standards
Yeah?
can actually help everyone
Okay.
by creating a level playing field
Right.
and ensuring a certain level of quality across the board.
So they're kind of raising the bar for everyone.
Yeah, they're all playing on the same field now.
That's a really interesting perspective.
It is.
It's like they're shifting the focus
Uh-huh.
from a win-lose mentality
Right.
to a win-win scenario.
It's not about putting someone else down to succeed.
Exactly.
It's about working together.
Right. And it's not about giving away all your secrets
Right?
or becoming best friends with your rivals.
No.
It's about finding strategic areas where collaboration makes sense
Yeah.
and can benefit everyone involved.
You got to be smart about it.
Okay. I'm starting to see how that could work.
Good.
It reminds me of another theme that came up
Yeah.
throughout the thesis,
Okay.
the importance of adaptability and resilience.
Oh, those are crucial. Essential qualities for any entrepreneur.
We've seen that.
Yeah.
The entrepreneurial journey is full of challenges and unexpected twists and turns.
The bumpy ride.
You have to be able to roll with the punches
You gotta be able to pivot.
and adjust your course when needed.
Sometimes you gotta scrap the whole plan and start over.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, sometimes.
So it's not about having a perfect plan and
Right.
sticking to it no matter what.
No, it's about being able to pivot when things aren't working,
Okay.
to embrace the uncertainty
Yeah.
and find opportunity in the chaos.
It's like you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
The entrepreneurs in this study really highlighted that.
They did.
They talked about how they had to constantly adapt to changing market conditions,
Right.
new technologies,
Yeah.
and even their own evolving understanding of their customers' needs.
It's all about evolution.
They embraced failure as a learning opportunity.
Failure is just part of the process.
They iterated on their ideas
Yeah.
and never gave up on their vision.
You gotta have that tenacity.
One entrepreneur even said,
Oh, I love this one.
and I'm paraphrasing here,
Okay.
that the road to success is paved
Yeah.
with a lot of crises and naysayers.
It's true.
You're going to encounter people who doubt your idea, who think you should take a regular job.
Yeah, you'll hear that a lot.
But it's that unwavering belief in yourself
Right.
and your vision that will get you through those tough times.
That's what separates the successful ones from the rest.
That's the key.
It is.
And that's the reality of entrepreneurship, isn't it?
It is.
It's not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not a walk in the park.
It takes grit, determination,
Yeah.
and a willingness to embrace the unknown.
You gotta be a little bit crazy to be an entrepreneur.
Maybe.
Just a little.
It sounds like it's as much about the journey
It is.
as it is about the destination.
And the entrepreneurs who were most successful
Yeah.
seem to genuinely enjoy the process, the challenges, the constant learning and growth that comes with building something from scratch.
So what does all this mean for someone who's listening to this deep dive,
Right.
maybe dreaming of starting their own business?
Yeah.
We've unpacked a ton of insights
We have.
from these successful entrepreneurs, but it can feel a little overwhelming.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest takeaway is this.
Okay.
Successful entrepreneurship is a combination of factors.
Okay.
It's about finding that inner drive
Right.
and sustaining your motivation.
Yeah.
It's about having a solid business idea that solves a real problem,
Okay.
a commitment to delivering exceptional quality,
Right.
a thirst for knowledge, and a clear roadmap in the form of a business plan.
The business plan always comes back,
It does. It's important.
but it's also about being adaptable, resilient,
Yeah.
and willing to collaborate even with your competitors.
Sometimes even with your rivals.
And don't forget about building a strong team
Oh, yeah. That's huge.
and taking care of yourself along the way.
You got to take care of yourself.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
You have to pace yourself,
Yeah.
build a support system
You need that support.
to help you through the inevitable ups and downs.
It's a roller coaster.
And one final thought for you, dear listener,
Okay.
to ponder.
Right?
The thesis emphasized the importance of gathering knowledge
Yeah.
from all possible sources,
All sources.
not just the obvious.
Think outside the box.
What unexpected source of knowledge could you tap into
Yeah.
as you embark on your entrepreneurial journey?
That's a good question.
Maybe it's a former colleague,
Kaboo?
a family member with a different perspective,
Yeah.
or even a competitor
It's possible.
who's willing to share some insights.
You never know.
Keep your mind open,
Right.
and you never know where that next gold nugget of wisdom might come from.
That's a great note to end on.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was fun.